houses with this thing. Nancy gasped. George was snooping. George, it's not nice to snoop, she scolded. I know, George admitted, but I think I can see into Mike Minnelli's house. Mike lived a couple blocks away from Nancy. He and his friends, Jason Hutchings and David Berger, were in the girls' third-grade class. They were also major pests. What's Mike doing now? Bess asked. Jason and David are in his room, George said. They look like they're making piles of stuff on Mike's bed. What stuff? Nancy asked. They look like... George squinted her other eye. Jelly beans. Jelly beans? Bess asked. Let me see. Nancy looked through the telescope. The boys were making tiny piles of jelly beans. What are they doing with all those jelly beans? The boys were at the supermarket today, Bess said. Maybe they saw the jelly bean jar and got hungry for some. Some, George cried. It looks like they've got hundreds of jelly beans. Nancy wasn't sure why the boys had all those jelly beans, but she was sure of one thing. It wasn't nice to snoop. Let's look at the stars, not people, Nancy suggested. That's why my dad put the telescope in my room. Yeah, Bess agreed. And who wants to look at the boys anyway? Bess stood behind the telescope and tilted it toward the sky. Wowie zowie, she said. How many stars do you think are in the sky, Nancy? Nancy gazed out the window. There seemed to be 1,000,000 stars twinkling in the night sky, maybe even a gazillion. All I know is this, Nancy said. There are a lot more stars in the sky than all the jelly beans in the world. Tuesday morning, Nancy woke up and glanced at her clock. It was 8:30 a.m. She usually woke up at 7:30 when she had to go to school, but it was the middle of July and the middle of summer vacation. Nancy washed up and got dressed, putting on her red shorts, white t-shirt, and sneakers. She ran downstairs to the kitchen. Her dad had already gone to work. Hannah was placing a fresh plate of muffins on the table. Hannah Gruen was the Drews' housekeeper. She had been living with them since Nancy was 3 years old. Okay, guessing champ, Hannah said. How many blueberries are in your muffin? Nancy studied the muffin on her plate. She said. How about 10? There's only one way to find out, Hannah said with a smile. Eat it. The muffin was yummy, and Nancy counted 9 blueberries. Pretty close. After breakfast, Hannah gave Nancy permission to buy a box of her favorite popsicle at McCormick's supermarket. Nancy called Bess and George to join her. They planned to meet at 10 a.m. on Main Street. The contest is still going on, Nancy said, as they walked into McCormick's. More kids probably came to guess today. The first person Nancy saw in the supermarket was a woman wheeling a shopping cart. Her shiny brown hair was tied in the back with a white bow. She was wearing a sleeveless yellow dress and white sandals. Hello, girls, the woman said softly. Today I'm making photo albums out of bread slices. Won't that be fun? The woman smiled and wheeled her cart to the bread shelf. Isn't that crafty Kathy? George whispered. The lady on TV who makes stuff out of food? Nancy thought the woman looked familiar. Hannah watches Kathy's show all the time, she said. Once, she made a ring toss game out of stale donuts. Bess shook her head. Doesn't Kathy ever eat the food? She asked. The girls walked through the supermarket. Nancy saw a bunch of kids gathered around Mr. McCormick. Their friend, Katie Zaleski, was there. Katie's parrot, Lester, was perched on her shoulder. The kids looked worried. What's going on, Katie? Nancy asked as they walked over. It's awful, Katie said. The jelly bean jar for the contest is missing. Missing? Nancy turned to look for the jelly bean jar. The table it had been standing on yesterday was empty, except for the starry cardboard box. Mr. McCormick said that when he opened the store this morning, the jar was already gone, Katie explained. A goner, Lester screamed.